everybody. Today I just kind of want to go over my bow setup from last season. Really debating not changing it this year. I do have another bow I might try to shoot this year, an 80 pounder, but we will see if I can get my shoulder and goofy arm working to do that, but let's just go over it. So this past season I used my Prime Defy. This is a bow from 2014 or 13 that Prime came out with. It's a single limb dual cam system that I've had for years. This is probably the second or third bow I ever owned, but I was gonna rock an 80 pounder PSE, but with the surgery on my elbow I had to run with a lighter pound bow. Had to work my way up to 70 again, but this was the setup. So this year I was using the Spot Hog Wise Guy release with the boa, which is really handy, and this kind of locks back there so it's not flapping around. But really like this release. It's a hook style release, but used this for the last few years and really like it. Let's see. First thing I'll go over is probably my rest. I am using a Vapor Trail rest. It is a limb driven rest. So you can see that cable tie going up there. This will rise every time there. It is a full containment one. I'd say the only thing I don't like about the limb driven is I do have to sometimes hold my arrow there before so it's not rattling around. But great rest, super accurate. Just does the job and easy to fix in the field. I just bring some extra D-loop cord and I'm set to go. And I actually have some D-loop cord right there tied to the bow just in case something like that were to happen. Next thing that I really use quite a bit, especially on this bow, is this quivalizer. This quivalizer is from Option Archery here in Plains, Montana, and this, you've probably seen it around, but you can run it on the front or the side. When I'm backpacking and have to pack it on my back, I will put it this way, or if I'm just carrying it around in some situation, I'll put it this way. Just easier to pack without the stabilizer hanging out. But typically, if I am stalking, I have this thing ready to rock in the front position as a stabilizer. It locks in there. Super balanced with this bow. I will say a quivalizer, I've put it on different bows. I don't like it on some. On this bow it feels perfect. It's super light. Like, I even thought about going with the aluminum one here because it had some weight in the front, but really it's been pretty awesome device for me. I have a 5 arrow quiver. It's not too excessive, just works good. Next thing I'd like to go over is my sight. As you can see, I run a Dovetail black gold 5-pin. You can see on there, the focus is kind of goofy, but yeah, 5-pin there with the small pins. It's worked great, super solid sight. Love the Dovetail, always works good for me. Get those pins out there and make it smaller. That way I'm aiming smaller and you miss smaller, so really like that. It's a dial, you know, a drop. So range it, boom, drop it down. That sight tape, it's hard to kind of see, but I'll just see if we can focus that. And then I'll just drop this rail. Say, all right, it's at 90 yards, boom. And then it has a stop, 0 stop at the top, which works good. Now let's see the arrows. You can tell I was running 2 different arrows this year. I tried out these VAP Elite 300s. 300 spine, 0.66 diameter. They are pretty solid arrow. I'd say in the majority they are straighter than the gold tips I was shooting when you're spinning them on arrow spinner and cutting them. But I like the gold tips as well. It's just a little bit tougher arrow. But at the time I didn't have enough gold tips, so I just kind of mixed them up. So what happened was I even just used the gold tip accessories on the knock cover there and the collar to make them weigh the same, and they actually do. Once I put them on the scale, they actually do weigh pretty damn close to exactly the same. And they're cut the same length with the 4-arrow fletch. The other ones I was using were the Pierce Platinums from Gold Tip, and they have been my favorite arrow for a few years now. I really like this arrow. Just works solid for me. It's a tough arrow. Shot multiple animals with the same arrow. It's just been awesome. So next thing I'll go over is the broadhead I used. I've been using these broadheads for about 4 years now, maybe 5, and these broadheads really have done well for me. This is the Blood Ring Blood Sport Grave Diggers, and I have shot all my archery elk with these. They are hybrid, the cut-on contact tip with the expandable blade with a simple tension screw. Is that set screw right there between the blades where you can set the tension. And basically when you want to use them as practice, you just lock those up, lock down that set screw, and they won't expand. So you can shoot them as a practice head. And I mean, I've had great results. This arrow here, this is the arrow I shot my bull from this year with. You can see it definitely bent the expandable blades, if it'll load or focus there for me. And let's see, get the focus. Anyways, so it definitely messed up the expandables, but for the price of these broadheads, they shoot really nice. Never had trouble sighting them in, and I mean, it did the damage on that bull. One shot passed through at 36 yards, and I'll overlay some of the shots of that bull, and that hole, exit hole, is huge, and I mean, complete pass through, just smoked them. And I just like the bigger, you know, the more blades I can have, just bigger hole, more blood, and it's always nice when you have 2 holes because more blood. So, but that bull didn't go 100 yards. He passed out and it was done. But that's the broadhead setup I was using. I can go a little bit more into depth. So this just a boning wrap on the fletching, and these are our gold tip. They're shorter vanes, and I ran a 4 fletch with a little bit of offset, if you can see that. And that paired with a 4-blade broadhead hybrid seemed to fly just perfect for me. I am not a fan of running too much weight in my arrows. I'd rather have them shoot where I want them to shoot and not have a huge pin gap. So that's the way I gone about it. But yeah, so there's no extra weight. These are stock. I've tried running weights, but not my favorite thing to do. Yeah, so just a collar, stock, 100 grain grave digger, and that's about it. And really, this is an old bow. This is the old Prime. I painted it up. It probably needs some touch up now, but from hunting season. But this bow has been around. I've shot my biggest mule deer, biggest whitetail, and elk with this bow. And really, at the time, I was gonna try to test out the new Prime, the new Bowtech and Hoyts. But I went and shot this compared right next to the new Prime, and this thing shot just as fast as it, and with whatever arrow I was using, and I mean, this is comfy. So sticking with it. Probably will end up shooting it again this year, hopefully, depending on strength and rehab, if I can shoot that 80-pounder or not. But this is all about the one that did the job this year, and done well for me.